Because the ANC will be marching this morning over what they say is a lack of service delivery under the DA-led coalition. The governing party lost that metro during the 2016 local government elections and has since been trying to regain power through a coalition with smaller parties. Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda Ngcobo is our reporter on the ground, live to us now from Marabastad this morning, where the march will kick off. And Ziyanda, those who've been critical of this particular march have pointed at the ANC's role in bringing things to a collapse in Tshwane, a case, they say, of the pot calling the kettle black.
Absolutely, Ziyanda, and as I stand here this morning, I mean, it's an indictment of the ANC in terms of just how they've organized themselves. It's just after 8 o'clock, and there's absolutely nothing in this field to indicate that there's going to be a march. In fact, I'll step out of shot. The first Tshwane Metro Police Department vehicle arrived just shortly before we started this crossing, but ordinarily, Ziyanda, you would anticipate that people would have started coming to stream in for a march that begins at 10, that they would be setting up and that there'd be some kind of energy behind this, given just how hungry the ANC has been to regain Tshwane. In fact, and how many opportunities the ANC, some would say, has had to regain the capital city. It's basically up for grabs for anyone, given the latest drama with the now former mayor, Makwarela, and in terms of how the ANC has not really was part of that, and they've not capitalized off that. Neither has the opposition. Randall Williams was, of course, the mayor of this metro, and they lost out on that. And really, you guys have been, as the AM reports, have been having a conversation about coalition, governments and the legislation around that. And really, this is one such case study that many are looking at very closely in terms of the ability of citizens to hold the parties that they vote for accountable in between elections and the choices that they make at a local governance level, but also the type of negotiations and the levels of political maturity that political parties have when entering into such a negotiation. So today is meant to be a march led by ANC Secretary General Fikile Mbalula to the Tshwane Council, where there is, of course, a sitting there this morning, and our colleague Mbali Tetani will be giving us that leg of the coverage. But, when you look at the machinery of the ANC, 8 o'clock, and there's absolutely nothing to show that there's going to be some kind of a march. I wonder then if this is an indictment of how serious the governing party is about regaining this metro.
With that in mind, Ziyanda, has there been any kind of information around what the march will entail? What exactly the governing party is hoping to have achieved if they have a successful day on the other end of this particular march?
Well, actually, Ziyanda, as I speak to you now, I'm going to bring in Lesego Makubela. He speaks for the ANC in Gauteng. Thanks for joining us. One of the questions that Ziyanda Ngati is asking is that what are you hoping to achieve after marching to the council today? When you look at a political level, you would have had several opportunities as the ANC through as a coalition pact of sorts to actually regain Tshwane.
So in the past 8 years, the ANC has never been able to hatch up any coalition in the city. The DA has run the city for about 8 years, running it in the coalition with the EFF and other parties, and that's why it has run it down. We're here to elevate the issues that, for instance, you in the media are not reporting that this is the only metro in South Africa which has been downgraded to junk status by international credit rating agencies, Moody's. There was a damning Auditor General report which just came out, a very scary Auditor General report, which says that the city is actually almost minus 30 billion in the red, which says that 10 billion of those finances that were sent to the Auditor Generals could not be accounted for, which also stated that the fact that the city could not even account for a lot of monies that it's administering. So this city is actually literally bankrupt, technically bankrupt. There is no bank in this country that can touch it. But also in 15 years, when we ran the city of Tshwane, we gave the residents and the people of this city 15 capable, exceptional mayors. In 8 years, the DA has given us 5 disastrous mayors who have actually fled. All of them have been resigning here because of a myriad of corruption allegations, maladministration, and serious challenges.
But the ANC in Tshwane was also one of those who had congratulated Makwarela on becoming mayor. So when you speak about corrupt mayors, when you speak about due diligence, one could argue that the ANC did not do that, given the fact that I'm told that, in fact, Makwarela has quite a colourful history, even when he was in the city of Joburg, running one of your entities in the city of Joburg. So what's your reaction to that?
Actually, he was running an entity on behalf of the DA, which had appointed him as the chairperson of that particular entity. And then until they fired him, he came here. They appointed him as a speaker. So when we enter into discussions with other parties, how Makwarela came about, he came about because he was the most qualified. We verified these qualifications with VET. It checks out, right? The DA knew from all these years, when they appointed him a chairperson of that particular entity in Johannesburg, brought him here, voted for him to become a mayor. We voted for him they voted for him to become a speaker. When we voted for him to become a mayor, on the very same day, they said he's not going to last a day in his job, because they always had an ace in their sleeve. They knew about this. Secondly, is because Makwarela fits what they've been doing. They've appointed bodybuilders. There was a bodybuilder here who was earning millions, right? We exposed it. There were irregular appointments of white senior people who we exposed. They had to run away. And they resigned and ran away. The bodybuilder has resurfaced in the city of Ekurhuleni, earning the same amount of money that he was earning here. Even when here we exposed him, the then public protector Thuli Madonsela came out, released a report which actually effectively fired him. And therefore this is a myriad of irregular appointments of DA here in this city. For 4 years there was a head of the chief of Metro who earned a salary without actually being able to go to work, because she was not qualified to be able to discharge her responsibilities as a head of Metro. We had a questionable head of emergency services who was fired here, who Sakwa came out, the Makwarela sort of thing. Sakwa came out and said that no, the qualifications that he provided were not real. I'm saying that Makwarela follows a litany of DA irregular appointments in the city, and there are still many of those in this particular city which is rotten, ran by people who are unqualified, and that's why they have been able to successfully run it to the ground.
Very quickly, Mr. Makubela, where are your people? You'd expect that for a march such as this, you would have organized early, people would have started setting up. Yeah. You're the first person to arrive, and yet you're meant to march to the Tshwane Council. An indictment of just how organized you are?
It is my work to be the first to arrive. Our people are coming in their numbers, they are on their way. The march will start here at 10 o'clock as the communication went out in the media. You are the only media, the first media to arrive. We must also give you accolades for that. Others, they will arrive, they know, around 9 o'clock when people start trickling in, when numbers of our people are starting to trickle in.
All right, Lesotho Makubela speaks for the ANC in Gauteng, Ziyanda, basically outlining how he believes that anything that the DA-led coalition pact brings to the fore has been disastrous.
Ngcobo, thanks very much indeed. First on the story, as always. Live just there from Marabastad in Tshwane.